Okay, welcome to Prunership Diaries. Today we have with us Julie Xavier, who is an amazing baker, a do-it-yourself expert, and a very lively and enthusiastic person that I know. She started a baking venture, Sinful Gourmet Sugar and Spice, which offers a host of unique recipes to choose from, like bakes like cupcakes, tea cakes, celebration cakes, desserts, cookies, and lots more. And with respect to savories like salads, cutlets, traditional curries, and breakfast recipes. So, the bottom line being, Sinful Gourmet Style recipes are an amalgamation of healthy and tasty eating. The aim is to share with people some easy to make, feel good, and scrumptious meal that can be whipped up in few minutes and also taste delicious. And you should surely check out the Instagram handle of Sugar and Spice, which features step by step recipes, restaurant reviews, food inspired travel, and even store sneak peeks about artistic tableware, organic veggies, and lots more. So, Julie, thank you so much for agreeing to be on my show. It is such a pleasure to have you. And I am sure that this is going to be a mouth-watering episode. Thanks for being here. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Shweta, for inviting me. Yes, as you said, it's going to be definitely a mouth-watering roller coaster today.
Absolutely. All right. So, do we get started?
Yes.
Okay. So, I gather you were working in the corporate sector, and I want to know what triggered you to get into baking. Did you see an opportunity, or was it the sheer love for baking and cooking that you moved from working in a corporate sector entirely into baking now?
Okay, so I've been working in corporate sector for a couple of years now, and while I was working, I was also baking and trying out recipes at home, and that was mostly for my friends. And when we had a get together, when I used to browse the internet, look out for recipes. Okay, I'll make this today. Okay, this that. So yeah, that's how it used to happen. But what happened in 2019 is that I was I remember this day when something just struck me, and I was like, why don't I, just take this up? Let me just do something, that will make me feel happy about. And a lot of friends at the same time, kept telling me that, corporate is not where you belong. You're so talented. You need to do something else. You're beyond, sitting in front of the desk and just hitting those keyboards over there. So, when people keep talking like that around you, you keep getting, these kind of thoughts, that, should I venture into something, or is this not the right place to be and stuff. So yeah, and then I said, let me give it a try. There's no harm in giving it a try, because later I don't want to regret saying that, I did not give it a try. So yeah, so in 1920, I took this big step, and I said, okay, I'm going to quit corporate for some time at least, and get into this beautiful and magical world of baking and cooking
Yes.
food. Yeah, so
Wonderful.
I did that. I'm so happy about the step that I took today, and but there was nothing like there was no predetermined notion in my head that I want to make it a success, or what would I do if it was a failure. There was nothing like that. All that I knew is I had to give 100%, and that's what I'm going to do. And yeah, and that's how it started.
Wonderful. I think when you say that, it was all about you didn't bother about what the end result is going to be, and you just wanted to get in the process of doing something you love. I think
Yeah,
that's wonderful and commendable. So it's
yeah.
so good to see you on this journey. So moving on, what has been your inspiration to create new recipes, and how do you go about coming up with one?
Okay, the inspiration for creating recipes has been, I would say, myriad sources, because it is the cookbooks that I read, then the lot of shows that I used to watch in TLC,
Mm-hmm.
and every time there was a close, when they still actually shows a very close. shoot, where the lady is throwing in the raspberries and she's, using the spoon to whisk it. And I was drooling here looking at it. Oh my God. This
Yes.
is so amazing. Okay. So yeah, the I could say, these kind of cooking shows. I read a lot of food blogs, and then I would say my mother has also been an inspiration. I have seen her cooking. The basic khana that we have at home. My mother-in-law, her style of cooking is very different from my mother. So there's two different styles that I have seen cooking. A lot of my friends love to cook. So, a couple of my friends, yeah, they are from maybe a Goan friend cooks it in a different way with a lot of coconut in her food. And then I have a friend from Shillong who is like, I don't know, 1,000 kilometers away from the coconut and says that I'm happy with onion and tomato base. So,
Yes.
so yeah, so I've got a Maharashtrian friend who loves to add peanuts in any kind of cooking that she does.
Right.
So these has been, my friends. They have definitely been my inspiration, and I would also say traveling. Yes, to a great part.
Mm-hmm.
I've traveled to most of the Southeast Asian countries, and in India also a couple of places. So right from the sambar idli that I eat in South India to that parathas that I had in Himachal Pradesh
Right.
was like amazing. Yeah. So all these were like different kind of like when I come back, they all inspire me. I never knew that a paneer paratha existed till I visited Dalhousie. Because every
Wow.
single day they made this nice yummy paneer paratha and they served it at the hotel. And I was like, oh wow, this is so good. So when I was back in Bangalore, I make paneer paratha. Now it's one of the breakfast that I make at home.
Right.
So yeah, this and yeah, I think the so yeah, there's lots I can see of inspiration that I
Right.
get. And I think the most challenging is when I have to cook something, for someone who doesn't like anything. Like if you don't like potatoes, how can I make you eat potatoes in an interesting way? So
Oh, yeah.
that inspires me. You tell me you don't like carrots and beans, I have to cook something that makes sure that you like it. Next time you won't say, "Oh, I don't like carrot and beets. I can eat carrot and beets." So yeah, something
Wow,
like that.
that's interesting. So when you say that, it's a you travel or you read cookbooks or you see something elsewhere in a different place altogether. So when you come back, is it like it's like, is it like a fusion of the north and the south, or how do you go about creating your own recipe? So I mean,
Uh,
do you blend it, or is it like the authentic one is what you create
oh
of
no,
that
no,
particular place?
definitely. Yeah, I blend it. There's a lot of blending that
Okay,
happens.
lovely.
So
Right.
yeah, like every time I go to a restaurant in the north, and when I taste like maybe paneer matar gravy
Mm-hmm.
kinds, and if I have to recreate it in my kitchen, I maybe I wouldn't use like a pureed tomato or something,
Mm-hmm.
or
Mm-hmm.
instead use something else that I have tasted somewhere else. Like a mix of those things, and it's not like one time that I work and it's the recipe is ready. A couple of steps that we have to keep trying it out, till I get the perfect this, because I want the same, what do you say, paneer matar, and as well as something else from the
Right.
southern side as well to it. So yeah.
Wonderful. I think that will be very interesting to taste, the fusion of many recipes. I think that's wonderful. All right.
Yes.
And I have seen you present your dishes in a very creative and appealing way. What are the certain aspects that you consider are a must to put up an inviting table, both in terms of variety of food and the decor and presentation?
Okay, so yeah, once you cook the food, it's very important that you present the food. There's a lot of difference when you present a tomato soup or in a plain pot bowl or white bowl, and or you present the same soup in a white bowl with a mint leaf on it
Right.
and carelessly drizzled cream on it. I think your eyes will be, stuck to the one with the
Yes,
mint leaf and the cream.
exactly.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, your eyes approves the food first, and then your taste buds talks to you, say, okay, let me taste that one, that looks good, and then a signal is sent to your brain like, go take the other one which looks prettier. So so yeah, so presenting food is very important. So I do follow that a lot in my, once I create the recipes on how to present it to make it look good and appealing. So a couple of things. And presenting food is not a difficult task. It's just that you have to take care of a couple of things. Maybe like use contrasting colors in your food when you present it. Choose the right plate. You don't want to overcrowd your plate. And it's like if you have a steak and if you have serving a steak with a sauce, so you can first pour the sauce on the plate and then place the steak on it, or you can place the steak and just drizzle some sauce on it, or you can place the steak and just keep a few drops of sauce next to it. It's entirely up to you, but it's just that you don't want to make it look so crowded and shabby that people like, what is it that's being served to me? So yeah, that is one thing. And table decor, on the other hand, yes, flowers, you can definitely add flowers to your table decor using the right cutlery. A tablecloth adds a very beautiful touch whenever you serve food on a table. So yeah, I prefer using a tablecloth in there, some nice colorful napkins as well. And if it's a meal for two special people, then obviously you can add some candles to the table as well.
Wonderful.
Make it look beautiful. Yes.
All right. I mean, that's
Yes.
lovely. I think, yeah, probably I, for one, should try doing that. All right. So I want to know, how have you been using the social media platforms to reach out to your target audience, and have they been really effective? And also, I want to know, do you use any other offline platforms, or anything which you have explored?
Okay, the online marketing tool that I've been using so far is Instagram and Facebook. I do also have a YouTube channel, and I think Instagram and Facebook have been pretty good. Uh, and in terms of the offline marketing, I have only explored putting up stalls. So I have put up stalls wherein I had this where you meet people and you talk to them about your product and you exchange a visiting card, saying this is my card. You can go visit my site and check it out. Okay. So yeah, so the offline is only putting up stalls and meeting up people is what been so far, but I'm looking forward to some more when things get better. More new, yeah, offline marketing, because I think social marketing is doing pretty well. It's good at what it is doing. Yeah.
Yes. Um, I know. I remember when you talked about stalls. I want to know your experience of that, and also my follow-up question to that is: I know you had participated in a couple of events. I'm not sure. I think it was some competition and a couple of competitions, which I know that you spoke of and you put it on the social media. So I want you to tell us something more on that.
Oh, okay. So one of the competition that I participated was the Pink Power. It was again for women entrepreneurship.
Wow.
So it was like a contest where women who are into different fields, are supposed to present their work to this group of judges, and the judges will select a couple of them. And I think for first three winners, it was like they would give a space in the mall. It was held in Orbit Mall, like a full space, and a couple of other financial help also to run and set their work. But and there was another said also that if you win this, they will allow you to put up stalls in the mall. So I've got selected, yeah, for the mall, the one where you put up the stall in the mall, and I presented my cupcakes, and I remember early morning, 11 o'clock was my meeting where there's a panel of judges, and I had no clue. I thought minimum there would be only three, right? I made only six cupcakes, and I remember I wanted to make it look colorful, so I piped blue and pink together on a chocolate cupcake. I packed it and I visited the place where the audition was being held. And when I went in, I saw like 11 people. It was like a huge conference. And I'm sitting in the center, and they're like asking me questions on, how you started, what would you like to do in the future, and so many questions. And I kind of answered them. And it was now time to taste the cupcake. And there were only six cupcakes, and there were like, I think maybe 11 people in the room who were asking me questions and stuff. And the moment they opened the cupcake, and they were quite elderly people, maybe, but I can't tell you, the moment they saw the cupcake, they just had the smile like a little baby on their face. They were like so happy, saying, "Oh, you got cupcakes and they're so colorful." And looking at them, I was like, "Oh my God, they're so happy about it." And I think that was the best thing. Like, it's okay, even if I don't win this contest, I'm just so happy seeing that they're like, happy, and they were sharing the cupcake, like, let me take a spoon, and they're just sharing it around. And so they were very happy with it. And and after 2 weeks, I get a call from them that I've been selected and I need to, put up a stall in Innovet Mall, which is good. And then it was for 2 days on the weekend. So I did that, and and it was a little stressful also because in a day I baked around like 8 to 9 varieties of cake. Like, it's crazy. Yeah, it was like waking up morning at 5, and then you end up in the night around like 12 or 1. So with no much sleep, and next day I was at the stall, all smiling, like welcoming people, like, oh, please taste, it's nice. And but it was a very good experience. There's no regrets on anything that I did. It's like, of sacrificing the sleep or hard work or anything. I'm like so happy with everything that I did, because I think the smile and that laughter is what matters the most at the end of the day. So yeah, I was really happy with that. There was another one where we went to a grocery store, just doing grocery shopping, and there was this chatpata chaat ka competition going on. So I participated there. Okay, I also participated, and they just gave me a couple of ingredients, and they said, "Okay, can you make a chart and give us?" They said, "Okay." So I made a chart, and I got a second winner. I was declared. Yeah. And I was happy because I got containers, where I can store my stuff. It was a supermarket. They gave me some containers. So now I use them in my kitchen. And whenever I see the containers, yes, I do remember, oh, these are the one which I won in the competition. So
I think that's the beauty of it, right? I think it is a win-win situation because you got what you wanted. You got the container set, and you were able to put up a dish, and which people loved. I think even in the very first scenario where you explained that you were in a conference with 11 other people, and I think just the joy of seeing them, I mean, seeing their faces when they open the box, and I think that's what it is. I think food that which brings a smile on people's faces, I think that's what it is, isn't it?
yeah, it is. It is very much.
Right.
And I think that's what keeps me going, like, trying out new things, new recipes, presenting something different for the people that they taste, they enjoy, and they tell me, oh yeah, this is different, this is good. So
Right.
yeah.
And I would also like to add that, being a baker, I mean, yes, one thing is, I know you do try out recipes and, from the comforts of your home. But then there's also another side to it where you should be open to, look into opportunities like, as you said, you put up stalls in various locations or, just a competition, just attending a competition. I think not thinking about what the end result is going to be, but just enjoying that experience, because I know you get to network with a lot of other bakers or people from the industry. Isn't that right?
Yes, that is absolutely right. You get to meet, people from your industry. There's so much of knowledge that gets, shared there, and a couple of things that you're not aware of. Also, you get to know that you yourself, when you talk to people, you share so much, and at the end of the day, you'll be like, "Did I know so many things?" Like it just
Yes.
you don't realize that you yourself have been making yours you sorry you've been making yourself also aware of everything that's happening around you, and when you get an opportunity, when you meet a fellow baker, you get to
Yeah.
talk about it. And so yeah, there's a lot of sharing of knowledge that happens. There's a good friendship that gets developed. So I do have a couple of bakers who are my good friends, where we talk about baking, and we talk about how do you get that nice shiny frosting on your cupcake and all those things. So we do that, but we haven't met each other yet. We are from two different places, but yes,
Wow.
there is a connection. Yeah, there is a
Oh,
definitely a
that's beautiful.
connection. Yeah,
Right,
so
right.
it's
That's
nice.
wonderful. All right. So moving on, I mean, so I know you do take in some orders, for cakes and other things. So how has it been during this pandemic? I mean, how are you making sure of the safety aspects when you are, sending across the dish or yeah, the order?
Yeah, so with the pandemic, it has definitely been a hit. So I
Mm-hmm.
am now, like, recently started to slowly and steadily gear up, actually. So
Mm-hmm.
the first thing that I've been taking care of is that of myself. I've not been stepping
Yes.
out so often here and there, unless and until it's like very, very much required. And
Mm-hmm.
the orders also have kept it very minimum so that I don't want to keep buying ingredients too much. So
Mm-hmm.
it's to the minimum. It's not like I'm taking orders back to back. So
Right.
the orders are minimum. I make sure that keep an inventory check on the ingredients that I use for my cake, and because after I buy them, they have to go a particular quarantine time. So I keep them like for 2 weeks minimum.
Yes.
So I just have a space in my house where I know all the flour, the chocolate, the cocoa powder is kept there, well, at least for a week, 2 weeks actually, and then yeah, and then that's when just take it out and then use it for the baking and stuff. But yeah, I ask people mostly to pick up the cake,
Mm-hmm.
just keep them out at a common place where they can come and pick it up. Or if they're very close by, I know we just go and deliver it and just keep it at a common place. And this is where the cake is, please, make sure that you take it. But yeah, I've not been using any of those partners like Dunzo and all to deliver the cake. That's
Mm-hmm.
what I've been avoiding. And
Right.
yeah, so there are a couple of things that in place now in when it's concerned with the safety.
Right, right. But
Yeah.
you would be using these partners, as you said, it could be Dunzo or other partners. I mean, probably once the pandemic is done, I think is that something that you're looking into, like
Oh yes,
ways
no,
to
I do
order,
use. No, I
ways
do
to
use.
deliver. Sorry.
I Yeah, I used to use Dunzo for to deliver
Mm-hmm.
food and cakes as well. But yeah, it's because of the pandemic I've been
Right.
avoiding them. Yeah, so I would prefer not to. Though they are safe, that's what they say. But I I don't want to take
It's
any
always
risk
better
right
to be
now.
safe and take the precautions.
Yes, it's better to take precaution.
Right. Wonderful.
Right.
All right. So I know this is the next segment is going to be interesting because it's about travel. So could you share your experiences of food when you traveled, and how do you associate culture and food? Do you think they add to the recipe that you're inventing? I know we spoke a bit about it in the very first question, but yeah, I do want to elaborate. I do want you to elaborate and also talk about your experiences while you're traveling.
Yes, yes. Okay, yeah, that's actually, as you said, the best part that about traveling.
Yes.
I enjoy travel, and yes. So when it comes to food, being I can't even tell you the amount of food that I tried in all the travels. I mean, they're like right from the street food to the restaurant food. I have tried like so many of them, and some weirdest food also is what I have tried.
Okay.
But yeah, it was interesting. Like the first time when I had mango sticky rice in Thailand, we'd been to the reclining Buddha temple, and when we were just getting
Uh-huh.
out, we were super hungry, and we saw this lady in a small place. She was having this rice, and she was just cutting these mangoes, and she was putting them in the rice and giving. And I'm like, it's okay, I'm so hungry, I can just eat anything that you give me right now. And that's when I went to that lady and said, okay, can you give it to me? And she gave that to me, and I had it. A scoop. But who would ever imagine that rice and mango would taste so good? I was like, oh my
Yeah.
God, this is amazing. And it took a second round from her. So I finished two. Two
All
boxes of
right.
mango sticky rice, and from that day onwards my hunt for sticky rice started, because I wanted to create it so badly in my kitchen. And luckily last year during my trip to Vietnam I found some sticky rice. And the best part is, I prefer to visit the supermarkets of different countries, every time I travel, because there's
Mm-hmm.
so many ingredients and food that you get to know, in the supermarkets itself. So when I was in Vietnam, I took a day. I think a half day. I was only exploring the supermarket, and there was like so much of greens and what do
Right.
you say? People there don't know much of English, so I was using a Google Translator, and I typed in sticky rice. And she's like, "Can you show
Wow.
me where is sticky rice?" So she took me to the section where you get sticky rice, and she's talking in Vietnamese, and I'm like, oh, okay, fine, just give it to me.
All right.
So yeah,
Okay.
so that was one of it. And the other thing that I love doing is, which I have started in a couple of my trips, is attending cooking classes.
Mm-hmm.
So I attended a cooking class in Bali. I did it in Vietnam also.
Wow.
So it was, again, yeah, it was an amazing experience where you get to know. First, they start with an what do you say, market tour, where
Mm-hmm.
they take you through the market and show you all the local
Right.
ingredients, and the people there, how they, the local markets, how it functions.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that was the best part. And then later you meet some other people from different part of the countries who are traveling just like you, and who are interested to know about the Vietnamese cuisine, and a couple of other cuisines also. So yeah, I meet a couple of friends as well from different countries like that. And like Vietnam, I we tried the eggnog coffee,
Uh-huh.
and there was a history. And like our instructor told us that during the war, I mean, with Vietnam, the French war, I guess, where there was shortage of milk,
Mm-hmm.
and there was this one guy who whipped egg yolk, and he made this eggnog coffee without milk. So it's just egg yolk, condensed milk, some sugar, and coffee. And
Right.
today it's one of the signature coffee in Hanoi. Like every place sells saying the eggnog coffee. So it's interesting to know such facts, that you're not aware of, and how it's associated with food stuff.
Yes.
And yeah, and I also noticed a lot of people, like, in Vietnam, the food is so soupy. They prefer eating like soup.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And yeah, and the soup does have like rice noodles in it, a lot of greens, a lot of veggies,
Right.
and a little bit of meat also. But the food base is again soupy. Whereas when
Mm-hmm.
I go back to Bali, there's more of rice, there's more of noodles, like the proper noodles,
Right.
and they prefer it as nasi goreng or mee goreng or all those. Yeah, goreng. Goreng is food and
Okay.
noodles. Yeah. So
Right.
it's different out there. Thailand again is more of coconut, so
Mm-hmm.
they have a lot of coconut based food in there. Um,
Right.
so yeah, um,
So
and
different places do add on to the recipes, right? I mean, the culture. I mean, as you said, even the local markets. I think it's a wonderful. I mean, though people go for sightseeing or exploring something or probably an adventure in a particular place. I think for food enthusiasts and bakers, I think it's a wonderful opportunity to actually go to the local market or the supermarket out in that particular place and learn from. I think it's very interesting when you say that, these cooking sessions which happen, and because you don't know about what is the staple food of that place, and when you go out and learn about it, and then you also get the opportunity to learn a particular dish and to interact with people from across the world. I think it's a wonderful opportunity, and I mean, thanks for sharing this, because for me it's something new, because all I see is probably something on channels, or read books about it, and also the other bakers in our own country, or a particular in my city, where I look into their dishes. But this experience of going for a cooking class in a particular city, or a completely different country, and learning from there is something new for me, and it's just wonderful. And I'm sure
Yeah.
you must have had a ball at it.
Yes, I did. And it not only happens in outside country. I've also seen when I went to McLeodganj, there was this
Oh,
lady who was teaching how to make momos.
oh wow.
So yeah, I couldn't get a class to attend, but
Hmm.
because it was fully packed, when I went there. But then there are people who do that. Because when I went to McLeodganj, Dharamshala, that's it. I see there's so much of momos. It's eaten like street food, like how we have chaat over here. So
Yes.
that's the difference, right? So
Yeah.
yeah, so this lady was teaching momos. So yeah, you can definitely explore it. It's nice. It's nice to meet people, and and then the entire food is served on the table that you can enjoy after the cooking class.
Oh yes. I think that would be the best part.
Yeah, that would be the best part.
Wonderful. So I want to ask you, where you planning to travel next? I mean, considering, the pandemic is done, or yeah, after the pandemic.
Okay, I want to try some Sri Lankan food next.
Mm.
I know it's more like an Indian food that they cook, but like the Sri Lankan crabs known, I want to
Hmm.
try and yeah, look out for work on Sri Lankan cuisine next.
All right. So that's on the list.
Yeah, Sri Lanka is on the list.
Yes. Wonderful. All right. So I mean, you spoke about you attending cooking classes or baking sessions, but I want to know. I know you do that. You also, conduct baking classes. So I want to know, how has been that experience of teaching someone to bake?
Okay, yeah. So teaching baking is has been a fantastic experience because I think baking is equal to joy. So every time you bake,
Yeah.
it's like it's kind of a joyous moment that you have around you, like the moment the bakes, when you open the oven and you get the smell of the fresh bake, you're like, okay, I'm ready for this, please get it. It's like that.
Yes.
So every time people come, they're like very excited, and I haven't I usually take for in a batch 4 people, not more than that.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
so I love the questions that they ask. There's so many questions that keeps coming, but it's nice to answer those questions to them. And I think the best part is, they get excited the moment I hand over the whipping cream to them, and they're like, "Okay, your cake is ready now, decorated." So they're like, "All right, let's get started."
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, so no, it's fun. It's fun, and especially again, it's like meeting people. It's like knowing
Mm-hmm.
people from different genres of work coming because they love to bake. They want to bake for themselves. Some want to bake for their kids. Some want to bake for their family. So it's nice. It's yeah, I do like it when they're like people at home, and we're doing a baking class together. I think there's a lot of talking. Initially the baking starts with a lot of questions, and then there's a lot of talking which might be not related to baking but something else.
Wow. So
Yeah.
apart from the baking, there's also something else cooking.
Yeah, like like if somebody is doing, maybe in a different company, and they're like, "Oh yeah, how is that company? I heard the company, pays good." Karke." They're like, "Yeah, that company pays good." "Oh, where do you stay?" They said in Indranagar. "Oh, is it near that place? Oh, okay, this place. Oh, Indranagar is good, right?" So you know,
Yes.
It starts from somewhere and it ends somewhere else. And then, yeah, and I'm like the
Right.
instructor, "Shush, okay, guys, like the bake. Now it's baking. Now can you see the cake rising out there?"
Wow. That's
So,
wonderful. I'm sure you must have like amazing fun teaching and also talking to others. And I'm
yeah.
sure they would have surely have a lively session because the person that you are, I think you bring it out in everything that you do.
Yeah, I'm very talkative. I think that's been it. I haven't had a feedback form yet because they would be filling up saying, "Oh, the instructor is so talkative."
And funny. Wonderful. That's
Yeah.
great. Okay. Okay. So moving on, I mean, since we're talking about baking and I want to know like how do you keep yourself organized? Because I know there are like so many steps in the process of baking. So how do you do it? Like, I mean, I think for all the bakers out there who are listening to this, so could you tell some tips on how to keep your ingredients organized or yourself organized, and also pertaining to how do you keep track of all the steps in baking?
Okay. So the first thing is that you got to have a diary or a book for you. You
Mm-hmm.
know, it's always better to keep that wherein you can make a note of the orders that you have. Like, you know, if you have an order after 2 days, you make a note of it. Like, you know, the moment you get an order, make a note of it in your diary so that you know that you have an order to be delivered there. And then depending on the cake, it's very important that you know, if it's a chocolate cake, it's important that you keep the ingredients ready. Have it first, you know, get an inventory check done to making sure that you have all the ingredients as required for the cake. Because at the last moment, you don't want to say that, oh gosh, I don't have cocoa powder. Let me just run for it. No, you shouldn't be doing that. You know, a last minute running will always put you into stress. So it's always better that, you know, once you decide what kind of cake you want to make, you go do an inventory check. That's
Mm-hmm.
the first thing. Check if you have all the ingredients, and before you start baking, also, you know, you measure the ingredients, keep them all ready, and then you go by the process. You know, whatever the recipe calls for, of mixing the dry with the wet ingredients and all those things. But make sure that you measure the ingredients and keep them there. And what I would say to be more organized is that, you know, do not take the last minute orders. It's it puts you into a lot of stress when you take last minute orders. And the other thing is, like, if you are like a sole person, like how I function, I do eight, everything from A to Z is what I handle by myself. So
Mm-hmm.
it becomes very important for me that I don't do last minute running, because
Yes.
that puts me into a lot of stress. That, okay, this is not there, let me run for this. Okay, this did not turn well, let me work on this. Because if the cake calls for a ganache, then I would prefer to make a ganache a day prior and keep it ready, and then bake a cake, because cake needs to be baked fresh. But yeah, ganache, couple of things that you can keep it ready prior,
Mm-hmm.
get it ready, and you store it well so that it's easy for you to assemble on the cake, is what I would say. And sometimes also, again, if you are a sole proprietor like me, do not rush on too many orders. It's okay to say no when you have back-to-back orders, because you need time to revitalize yourself. Because when you take too much of orders, you, I don't know, without maybe you realize it or not, you there's a lot of energy that keeps draining out. Okay, and you need to refuel yourself so that you're ready for the next order. And when you are ready and fresh for the next order, things will flow also smooth in there.
Yes.
So that's very important. I I think that, yeah.
Okay. All right. Perfect. Thank you so much for that. And okay, I know you are a do-it-yourself expert. So how do you do it? How do you go about it? Can you share that experience? Like, what made you to, do things by yourself, or why is that?
Where in terms of baking.
No, it's in terms of, I know you with respect to anything or putting up a table pertaining to decorations and everything. And I know, I mean, you have talked about being like doing it everything by yourself. So I just want to understand, like, from what space, or is it something that you love doing because you don't want to rely on other products or anything? So is it something that you it could be as simple as putting up a table or as simple as some decorations? So I've seen you do that, I mean, by all yourself. So I want to understand, like, what makes you to do that and you're getting to that space of creativity. Yeah.
Yeah, that's space of creativity. Yeah, yeah, I don't know. I think that's something that I enjoy doing. Maybe, yeah, I enjoy doing. I can never get tired of decorating a table or putting up a birthday event for a friend. I can never get tired.
Yes.
Uh, yeah, and yeah, I think it makes me, more importantly, it makes me feel very happy. At the
Mm,
end of the day, when I see, like, the whole table is decorated, there's a, beautiful theme set up, and, everything looks so pretty and beautiful around you. It makes me so, so
right.
happy. And I'm like, yeah, let me do it. Yeah, I'm not a lazy person. Let me do it. Let me do it. Come on, let me do it. Yeah, I think it's the happiness that I feel that uh, yeah, the whole thing is so vibrant and happy.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's the passion and the happiness that makes you do everything by yourself.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Wonderful, wonderful. Okay. So I mean, during this time, I mean, for all of us, I think that one thing we all need to take care of is our well-being. So I
Yes.
want to know, what is your workout routine like, and what do you indulge in apart from work, apart from
Okay. My
baking?
work, apart from baking. Okay. So my workout routine is not much actually. So I've been doing a little bit of yoga.
Right.
I practice the Surya Namaskar every morning now.
Hmm.
So, and I've seen that there's a lot of difference once I do the Surya Namaskar. Again, it's like
Yes.
an energy booster for the day, I would say, and a little bit of yoga poses, here and there. But I would say that it was one of my friend, Kavya, and she is an instructor. So I got in touch with her that, with my busy schedule and things like that, and with the pandemic, I need, something, that would help me to keep me active during the day, and then she came up with, these yogas. So, and they've been very helpful, and I've been practicing them every single day. And
Mm.
now it's like, if I don't do them, I'm really missing on something. So
Yes.
yeah, they've been great. And apart from that, what else I do is, yeah, I like to put on the music and just dance dance.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah, I like doing that. I don't know. I've been a major fan of Nia Kakkar's songs.
Uh-huh.
So I
Okay.
just put up a song of hers and just dance to whatever steps I feel like dancing. So
Wonderful.
that is another thing that I do. And apart from this, baking that I indulge myself is gardening. I have started gardening,
Hmm.
and yes, that's also a very nice experience when I sip my chai in the garden with my dog. I've got a lab, so
Wow.
we both sit in the garden in the morning, and it's a very small, tiny balcony garden. But yeah, it's very nice to see the flowers bloom there, and you see these little butterflies and some insects coming buzzing here and there. So yeah, it's a
Right.
pretty, thing in the morning. And then I have also started a little bit of, what do you say, organic veggies or herbs, you can say. So I grow mint, I grow coriander,
Wow.
and every day I try to inspect if everything is fine, there's no insects that's affected, and all those things.
Right.
And yeah, like, apart from the gardening, the yoga, I will also indulge in a little bit of doodle drawing. I've
Hmm.
also taken a couple of workshops on doodle drawing, so I do a little bit of doodle, and that's also food related. Okay,
Wow.
I just really doodle.
That's wonderful.
Yeah, so I've been doodling all these food, like pastries and
Mm.
milkshakes and all those things, doodling. And yeah, whenever I get time, I try to do a little bit of painting also. But yeah, painting takes a lot of time, so very, very rarely I do that. But yeah, I make an effort. At least I take a brush and at least paint a little bit in there so that next time I skip that step and I go for the next step. So
Right.
yeah, these are a couple of things
Yeah, that's
it keeps me
wonderful.
busy.
Uh, Yes, I mean that's wonderful to know that you have like a variety of things which keep you engaged, and it's so good to see one in a creative space. I think doing a lot of things, and it's really wonderful. And I think that's really helpful for the times that we're in. So
Yes,
yes,
yes, right. And I think it's very important that the physical is your mental well-being. Okay, even if you're a baker or if you're not even a baker or if you're from any other field, being mentally stable is so important because. With the current situation that we are in with this pandemic, we all have been hit in some or the other way. So indulging in things that will make you happy is so important. Like yeah, rediscovering your old hobbies. I think this is the right time to
yes,
do that. And yeah.
yes, absolutely, yes. All right. So we move on to the last section. I call it
Okay.
the pruner spotlight section. So
Oh,
I am
awesome.
going to run you through a few questions. It could be on the personal level or the professional level. So you
Okay.
can answer in a word or two or a couple of sentences, and it's left up to you. Okay. So
Okay.
do we get started?
Yes. All right. So,
Okay. All right. So, what is the one thing that motivates you to go about your day? It's
one
more
thing that
like what is your ikigai? So ikigai is nothing but the reason for your being. So what is that one thing that you enjoy doing no matter what on any given day?
enjoy doing no matter what on any given day is my prayers.
Mm,
I love to spend time. Yeah, every day, every single day, 365 days. I don't miss my prayers.
wonderful. Wonderful. Okay. All right. Any person who inspires you on this journey. It could be someone in the personal space, or it could be a baker since you're into baking. So, who's the person that inspires you on this journey?
uh, I would say it would be my husband. So he was the one who actually, to be honest, taught me how to cook initially.
Wow.
So
Okay.
it all started with dal chawal. when when I got
Wow.
married, I didn't know the ABC of cooking, and that's when he started. He's like, okay, let's do some dal chawal today, and he taught me this is how dal is made, and this is how chawal is made. So yeah, so
Wow.
yeah, and I think from the dal chawal I have what do you say, I worked on it and improvised, and now I'm like into the space where I develop my own recipes. That yeah, I could give the entire credit for him because, and he's the one on whom I experiment because every time I did new dishes out,
I know.
he's the first one to taste and tell me how it is. So he's my subject.
Oh, yes. Wonderful.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
So
That's lovely.
I think he's going to be very happy when when he hears this and he gets to know that I mentioned
Absolutely.
about the dal chawal.
Yes. And absolutely. I think I must thank him because both of us are here today. Right. Okay. So moving on, I have a very interesting question. Okay.
Okay.
So hypothetically, if you turn out to be the richest person in the world tomorrow, what would you
Okay.
like to do? Or would you continue to do what you're already doing?
Okay.
Okay, but there's been something that's been on top of the shelf, and that is to help feed the stray dogs and help them find new homes because I truly believe that they do not deserve the street. I have a dog at home, and he is such a blessing. He makes me feel I am one of the most important person in his life, and he's always around me, sneaking on me, uh, just next to me, ensuring me and telling me that I'm going to be there with you, every single time. So it's a very very happy feeling. So yes, basically I think if I have a lot of money in hand, I would love to employ a team who would work towards feeding these dogs and helping them find loving families. And they they bring so much of happiness and uh, in our lives. So yeah, they deserve you know to be in good families and good environment and not on the streets. uh, I would also like to mention about an amazing organization called as Precious Paws, where you can passively adopt a dog by uh, sponsoring the meal and some expenses for a month. Uh, so, people who are listening to this podcast, if you could share this news about Precious Paws to your friends and families who would love to step forward and support such great organizations, would be a fantastic act. We need more supporters. Yeah, because these furry animals, they just need love, no hate. They need love. Yeah, so that's what I will do, Shraddha. Yeah.
Wonderful. Okay. Um, what is the tastiest food or dish you have had?
Okay, the tastiest food or the dish that I have. Oh, my, Shweta, that's a difficult question that you asked me.
See, I'm asking a baker this question, so yes.
The tastiest food. Oh my god, I
Think of
would
all the
say,
places that you've been.
yeah. I would just I'm scanning. I'm scanning my brains. Okay, let me just find out. I think okay. The one thing that comes to my mind right now is the tiramisu, which I had in Hong Kong. Yeah,
Ah,
that was amazing. Oh my goodness. So good. I still remember the taste of
oh,
it.
okay. Now my mouth is watering.
And I went to the supermarket in Hong Kong and picked up a mascarpone cheese because at that time those were not much available in India. And, like a couple of years back, maybe. And by the time I got into India, I don't know, the cheese got spoiled. And I was
Oh,
crying. I literally cried. Oh my God, when cheese has gone bad, how am I going to eat the tiramisu?
oh God. All right. So tiramisu is
Yeah,
it in Hong Kong?
yeah.
Okay. Uh, what is your definition of success?
Well, my definition for success is like um, anything that makes you happy. I mean, money is important. It is. It's definitely. But
Mm-hmm.
I think that anything that makes you happy is all about success. I mean, not we say to put it like giving you 100% to it.
Mm-hmm.
Anything that you want to do, and with no expectations, and um, you know, uh, yeah, and just being content with what you have. I think that is, to me, is what a success is. And I think money is the secondary part, definitely. It's like if you have a
Wonderful.
lot of money and if you're not happy with what you're doing, that's not success. You got to be happy, you got to be content, and yeah. And I think when you're happy and you're content and you always give your best, and then money will keep flowing in there, popularity will come in there. So yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, well said. I mean, I totally agree with you.
Thank you.
Right. So coming to the one last question. So what would you want to say to uh, the pruners out there? Like they could be, budding solopreneurs or budding bakers, who want to explore this entrepreneurial journey. So what would you want to say to them, or any tips or any lessons that you want to share with them?
Okay, for any lesson that I want to share with them, nothing. But yes, there's a couple of things that I would definitely want to tell them is that be confident in whatever you do, and because you're doing the best, so be confident. Second, give your 100%, and do not think about failure or success. Just keep giving your 100%, and trust me, it works. It You got to be patient because it takes time, and and during that entire time they might be you might be in this this place with so much of ups and downs, like sometimes even me as a baker at times you get this feeling, am I doing the right thing, or should I go back to my corporate, or should I be stuck to this? But then it's always like, no, I'm going to do this is what I wanted to do, I'm going to still give it a try. So yeah, yeah, keep trying, be confident, have patience, and give you 100%. That's more important. Give you 100%, and I'm sure then things will fall in place. It it definitely
Yes.
will. Trust on that. Yeah.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for that. I think it's very beautiful, and it's of course coming from a person who has tried it and also who is going through that journey. So thank you for those fine words. Um, so how can one reach out to you? I mean, yeah.
Yeah, okay. So you can reach out to me through Instagram. My profile is Sinful Gourmet Sugar and Spice. In Facebook, it's Sinful Gourmet. And my email address is Sinful Gourmet Sugar and Spice at gmail.com. So, yeah, right now I'm available only in these three platforms. So you can get in touch with me in any of these three platforms.
Okay, sure. I'll surely leave these links in the episode description.
Oh,
Uh,
thank you.
so, so I want to thank you again, for sharing your journey. I think it was very delicious, and of course, it was a pleasure talking to you, and it's always is very enjoyable. And for the person that you are, you light up the situation, and it's always fun talking to you. And it was indeed a pleasure and a honor to have you. And I would like to wish all the best for Sinful Gourmet. So may it grow bigger, and
Oh,
I hope to taste a whole lot of things.
yes, yes, yes.
Right.
Thank
So
you so much.
thank you
There
so
is
much.
definitely a lot of plans for Sinful Gourmet Sugar and Spice in the coming years. And thank you very much for having me, in your podcast. And I also, congratulate you on, this podcast. I've also seen you, how creative you are. And I just can't tell you how happy I am for you. And I wish you all the best.
Thank you so much. Lovely. Thanks again.
Thank you. Yeah.